Welcome to the Queer Love Podcast, the silly and serious shenanigans of two queer relationship coaches. I am your host, Elizabeth Cunningham.
And I'm your host, Lee Greeps.
On this podcast, we talk about how to live your best queer life with fulfilling, healthy relationships and anything else that makes your little queer heart happy. Because living your life outside of the heteronormative scripts is totally possible for you.
Each episode, we explore all things queer love from our professional perspective as relationship coaches, our own personal experiences, and as partners.
If you love our show, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships. You can also check out our website, www.queerloverelationships.com.
Thanks for following us and enjoy this episode.
Hello, and welcome to the Queer Love Podcast.
Woo! Didn't make them wait this time.
And what are we talking about today? What's going on?
Completing things.
Completing things.
Finishing things.
Finishing.
Chocolate, apparently. Finishing chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing cycles in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Completing behaviors and things that you don't want to carry forward to make space for new things.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing a chocolate bar to make space for a new chocolate bar.
It's true. That's how I feel about it.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Take life lessons from chocolate.
Mm-hmm. That's right. No, I think that was like one of the first things that I learned in coaching.
Finish chocolate bars.
Yes. It was one of the things that drew me to coaching, you know, because I was just like, speaking my language.
Right.
Let's talk about chocolate and chocolate bars. Completing chocolate bars to make way for more chocolate bars. I'm here for it.
That's all coaching is, actually.
It is. That's why you should take my certification program.
You just eat chocolate bars the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like
Exactly.
it's a win.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's all we do. We just eat chocolate the whole time. No, that was one of the first things that I learned in coaching was about completing your past, completing past cycles, but definitely like inside of completing your past is not necessarily about completing relationships. Like sometimes that's what it's about. It's like a relationship is over. And so completing that, but completing your past is things that have happened in your past that are still impacting you today. And that could be in a relationship specifically, or it could be with you personally, and then it's impacting you and therefore impacting the relationship, or specifically impacting your relationship. And that's also one of the things that when I talk to people about coaching who have never done coaching before, that's one of the things that people really understand when I talk about like completing past cycles, or especially like completing communication cycles. Like what I'll say is, the conversations that you keep having over and over and over again, and they never seem to close. Like it just seems to be on this loop for whatever reason. And one of the things that coaching can help with is completing that communication loop. And that's what I'll say. And then like everyone gets that. Everyone has been in or has experienced that, like being in some sort of loop that just like doesn't seem to close and you don't know how to close it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there are a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But most likely it's not that you just don't know how to communicate, you know? It's like, I think that's what people always get with that. So
Yeah.
it's like, I just don't have the tools. It's like, no, there's other things happening.
Yeah. I mean, partially it's
like
can
that,
be
that
because
helps.
that helps. That definitely helps. But the being able to complete things
that's
is different than having communication tools. They definitely supplement each other.
Yeah, no, it's
you
good
know.
to have that. And if you don't have an understanding of what is happening, it's gonna be really challenging.
Yeah. So what do you mean when we say like having things be complete? Like, what does that mean?
For me, I mean, it's the visual comes up because that's how my mind works. Is like when you like it's like the burning off of like the like end of the rope or something, you know. Like that's what
I like that visual. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I think of with. I mean, I think everyone has like a different. The whole thing of completing the past, I feel like, especially in the personal growth space, is like can be very different in different ways, depending on who you're talking to.
Which is why I asked you.
No, I know, and that's but I'm like, I'm trying to think of like, because it's So if you're interested in this and you're going to talk to someone about helping you do this, ask them what they mean by completing the past. But yeah, like I think it's just the, because when I think of completing the past, like, it's not going to be clean and neat and tidy all the time, which I think is what has it be so hard for a lot of us, because it's like you want the clean and neat and tidy because then you're like, oh, okay, now I feel complete, obviously, as opposed to like, I'm burning off the end of this rope at a very messy part, and that's completing.
I think sometimes it can feel like a nice tied up bow.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it can,
but not all the time.
It can feel like that. But if you're like attached to, it has to feel like that every single time. It's like, I feel like vast majority is not.
I was gonna say, I think a majority of things being complete is not a tied pretty bow.
And if it is for you, congratulations.
I know, good job.
Won a great lottery in life.
I know, like you should come do the podcast.
I'm like
share your secrets.
I'm like literally thinking about it for myself, and I'm like, dude, I feel like I can only think of like a few things in my life where I'm like, wow, that was so neat and tidy, that I'm like, well, I know it exists because of those 3 instances. Across my 30 plus years of life. So, I feel like I know what it feels like in that. But I mean, I think it's, so it's I'm saying that to know that like you're gonna need to be with the discomfort of like, oh yeah, things feel messy, and still being able to feel complete about whatever it is, or to to burn it off in the ways that it's actually going to help you move forward. And I think in the context of relationships, for sure, I think this is where the classic example of like getting back with your ex comes into play. Because it's not to say like you can't get back with your ex, like for sure that totally works for some people, and I love that for you. And it's more of, did you complete the relationship of the past? Like, is it complete around that, or are you trying to in this next iteration kind of continue that on, but you haven't like completed that, because then it just gets all messy and muddy and recreates the past. And so it's those kinds of experiences to be able to say like, like you said at the start of the episode, it's like, it doesn't mean that it's going to be like with a new person every time or whatever, but it can be in the same relationship, and it's just like the completion, right. And allowing yourself and the relationship to have that, so that it's like, okay, done, so that you can actually have that foundation anew.
Yeah.
to build from. And it can be, you know, in a relationship to yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be with another person, or relationship to a habit, a relationship to a behavior, a pattern, things of that nature, so that you can just keep like building from from newness, and not just like taking the things and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep tinkering. It's gonna work this time. It's gonna work this time. When you're like, I have 50 data points to tell me it doesn't work ever, but I'm gonna keep doing it. You know?
Right.
Which we all do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, being complete is different in different contexts. So, like and like different relationships too, in different circumstances, it being complete looks differently. Like, there are relationships that I have had where like being complete looks like having a conversation at the end of the relationship, and that's great, and that's awesome. Instead of giving examples, what I want to say is that being complete can come from like how you're thinking about something, or how you experience something, or how you feel about something. And so I think in being complete about whatever it is, whether it be something that's happened in the relationship and you're going to continue on with this current relationship, whether it's something that is, you know, within yourself that you've done, maybe that you need to forgive yourself for, or if it's a past relationship that either that relationship needs to be complete, or there are aspects of it, or aspects of how you were or how you were treated or what happened that need to be complete. I think that it comes down to the like your mindset around it, or how you're feeling around it. And in one of the trainings that I did, they used the word charge, like whether something is charged or not. And so I often use that language because that that communicates for me. Like, I feel like that's a really succinct way to kind of communicate that. So it's like being complete around that charge, or having that charge either be lessened, or even having that charge not even be there anymore, like neutralizing whatever that charge is around it. And, you know, a lot of different factors can come into play, like trusting yourself or the other person again, or forgiving yourself or forgiving the other person, or working through or emotionally processing things. And sometimes that also, most of the times that also includes, you know, gaining new skills, like we were talking about with communication, right? Like, but sometimes the skills are purely just like cognitive skills, like reframing, or reflecting, or being able to look at things from a different point of view, or whatever that mindfulness is around it. And sometimes the skill can be emotional capacity, or emotional intelligence, or having the discernment between what your emotions are, what you're responsible for, versus maybe a codependency tendency where you're worried about or concerned more about the other person's emotions over your own, right? So I think in being complete, it can look really different and a lot in different contexts. But I think, you know, to put it succinctly, I feel like it's lessening or eliminating the charge that you feel or think about something that has happened in the past, so that you can be present now. And like Lee was saying, you know, start at what did you say? Like, start at like a more neutral ground, or like come to a space where you can come to like more of a clean slate where you can then build from again. Foundation. Thank you. That's the word that you were using. I remembered your hand gesture and then I forgot the word.
I mean, all of that applies.
So that's what I mean when I say like be complete about something. And the times that I've been complete about things in the past, how I experience that is what I just said. Like I'm not having ruminating thoughts about it anymore. When I think about it, I feel neutrally about it, or I feel very little charge around it. Like a little enough charge where it's not impacting, who I am and who I'm being or my thoughts right now. Or like when I think about that thing, I remember or I recognize the lessons from it, because some things that I feel like I am semi-complete around from my past, which I also want to bring up this distinction of, or this idea of being complete for now around something, because being complete can also happen in stages. And I feel like being complete most often happens in stages. Most things are not like a one conversation or a one therapy session or a one coaching session or a one yoga session or whatever it is, like that you're now just like, oh, I'm fully complete about that thing that happened. Most of the time when you're trying to get complete about something, it's going to happen over time and over doing multiple things around it, whether that be communicating to your partner, whether that be seeking outside support, whatever it is. So I want to, talk about being mostly, what did I say? Complete for now. Thank you. Being complete for now about something. Because I think the other, what is that? The importance, there you go. The importance of having this idea of being complete for now is that you can settle the parts that are complete, even though there's things about it that aren't complete. Right? Like you can see your progress and you can, have your nervous system be settled within the progress that you have made, and also still recognize what might still be there to be complete. Or sometimes being complete for now feels like everything about it is complete. But then maybe 6 months down the line, something happens and you are re-triggered by something that you thought was complete. Right? So also managing your expectations around being complete, because if you don't have this distinction being complete for now, then if you feel fully complete about something, which is a totally normal thing to experience, I feel like everyone's experienced this, where you really do feel complete about a thing, and then 6 months down the line, a year down the line, something happens where you feel re-triggered, or something gets brought up about the past event that maybe you didn't recognize that you did have charge around until that moment. And if you don't have this distinction being complete for now, then part of the upset in that re-triggering is the upset of thinking you were complete about it. And then what you hear is, or what you might say is like, oh my God, like I thought that this was over. I thought I was over this. And then you might feel shame or embarrassment around that. And so I also want to alleviate that shame and that embarrassment that you may feel if when you thought something was complete, it actually wasn't. You actually find out that it wasn't, later on. Like that's a totally normal thing to happen in trying to be complete about something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the classic example with that is just like, you feel complete about a relationship ending, and then 6 months down the line you find out they cheated on you, or you find out they said this about you, or whatever it is, right? But it's just like, it reopens it. It's like the things I think about it in the context of the like solving cases. And it's like, oh, you got to reopen the case because new evidence has just been found, like about like, oh, okay, well, we got to address that now. So, yeah, but it is just like, oh, well, I thought that was taken care of, but apparently not because now I have this other information. It's just like, it was complete based off of the information I had.
Right.
But now there's other stuff I got to look at. And so, okay.
Yeah.
Adding it in.
Yeah. For me, one of the things that I think about is when I was going through my divorce, I thought that I was complete around all of the like emotional charge that I had around it. Like I was feeling fairly emotionally neutral about the situation, even though we were still like in the middle of the divorce. Mm-hmm. And then some financial stuff came up around it, and I was mad. I was very angry, and I was like, and I had that moment of like, oh, I thought that I was over this. Like, I thought that I didn't care about this anymore. Like, I thought that I was complete about it, and luckily I had the, knowledge of the complete for now thing. So I didn't like make myself totally wrong about it. But it still sucked. It was, it was still not fun. Like even, and we've said this on this podcast before, like knowing these things is only part of the process.
Yeah, the experience is something different.
Yeah, the experience is totally different. So it was helpful that I knew about, being complete for now, and the experience of being angry around finances and my divorce still sucked. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just important to allow for that, like the space of complete for now and everything, because especially in relationships, when there's dynamic beings involved, and even in the context of a relationship that you're, it's current, it's happening, it's continuing, not like past relationship, but like maybe there's like a challenge, and then you're like, okay, I feel mostly complete-ish. And then, you learn, like your partner tells you something else about it that they're just like, they see it as nothing. And then you see it as like something completely huge in it, right? And then you're like, okay, now I'm no longer complete about it. And so we have to reopen that case. Right. And so it's, these things just happen in that way where it's like, oh, well, I hear that that's nothing for you. And I am no longer complete because of that.
Well, and then it's a big deal for the other person, because then they're like, oh, dang, like this thing that I saw as like not a big deal is apparently a big deal to my partner. Right. And so now this isn't complete for me either. Right.
Right? No, like, I mean, it's like happening in that sense where I'm like, yeah, it's not complete at all. Like everyone's reopening the case. But
yeah.
It's just that thing where you're like, okay, well, there we are. So yeah, definitely it is a dynamic process in that way, for sure. Which, I mean, can get exhausting for, like, a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But it is just like, okay, well.
Yeah.
Now this is what's happening.
Yeah. Well, and I think some signs that you might not be complete about things, or that your past is still weighing heavily on you in your current relationship, again, whether the past be with this, with your current dynamic, or with other dynamics that don't even have anything to do with this dynamic, but it still impacts you because it impacts you, or
often a mixture of those things.
Exactly. Like I think some of the signs that that's happening can be trust issues. I think that's a really big one. If you have trust issues, that's probably your past coming up and needing to be dealt with. Some other signs that you might not be complete about something is that you still have a lot of emotions, like very charged emotions around something that happened in the past. And again, not to say that some things that happen in our lives are really big and are very emotionally charged. And so it's okay that you have charged emotions around things. It's just, if you do have charged emotions around things in your past, then know that those are going to, because the event that happened is now done. It is not happening anymore. But the emotions that you're feeling, the charge that you're feeling, is still present in your body right now. So that is impacting your system. That's impacting how you operate. That's impacting how you think about things. That's impacting your ability to communicate or not communicate. So just because something maybe is complete as far as it's not happening anymore, that emotional charge is still impacting you right now if it's still really heavy for you or very charged for you. Can you think of other examples? I could keep going, but I also don't want to
keep going.
Okay.
I just let you get it all out,
Yeah. Some other things that some other signs that things might not be complete is that you're still talking about it, and you're still talking about it in a way that is either accusatory, or when you talk about it, you still feel really heated around it. And again, heated can mean a lot of different things for different. That's why I like using the word charged, right? Because it's just that can be different things. That when you talk about it, you're still charged around it. It's still hard for you to talk about it. People still have hurt feelings around it. That's a tender subject that people are tiptoeing around. Which again, that's another thing that could indicate that things aren't complete, is that there is tension in the relationship just in general or around specific topics. You feel like you can't bring it up. You feel like you have to tiptoe around it. You feel like it's impeding your ability to have healthy conversations. Even when things get hard, or maybe even things aren't hard, you just feel like you can never bring up this specific thing or this specific topic or this specific person, right? That's a sign that things aren't complete. And things within you where you might check in with yourself about things being complete, because this is where our ego likes to protect us, is to tell us that you are complete about that thing because it isn't happening anymore and you want to be complete about it. So this is also where you need to self-reflect on what's actually coming up for you in your body and your emotions, and even checking in with the thoughts that run amok. If you're still having if you're still feeling guarded, which saying that you're complete about something in a defensive way is being guarded about that thing, and you're probably not complete about it, right? And so just check in with yourself, feel into that situation, not, how do I say that? Yeah, feel into that situation and just see what comes up for you around that. And if you're still upset, if you're still having thoughts that wasn't fair, or I lost trust for this person, or I'll never fully forgive them, or well, I guess this is just how our relationship is going to go, those resigned thoughts as well, is another. Being resigned is definitely a sign that you are stuck in the past in some way. So if you hear yourself in this, you probably are stuck in the past a little bit. And that's also okay too, because that's just what we do as humans. There's not a single person on this planet that is currently a completely blank slate unless you were just born. So it's okay that the past is still there for you. That's normal. It's more about being complete about the past so that it's not impacting you right now, right? Any thoughts around what it might look like, or
No, I mean, I think, yeah, the examples you shared, and yeah, I'm like, I mean, it is just if you're focused on it or ruminating, or it's just taking, a hold of you, I guess, in that way. And, I think it's just like you said right now, too. It's like there's nothing. I'm like, I get people that get all like frustrated about it. They're like, oh, I shouldn't, like, I should just be over it. I should just blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's nothing wrong about, I'm like, if you're just like, man, I'm not complete about it, but you're like working on it, it's like, it's fine, like it's okay that this big event thing happened or this hurtful experience happened, whatever it is, and it's taking time. I'm like, yeah, that checked out, man. Like, that was a hard experience, and I wouldn't anticipate that you're gonna feel complete about that in a good bit of time.
Yeah.
And and obviously that's really hard to navigate, and you're working on it, and it's totally okay in that sense. So it's not like, oh man, I'm not complete on this, there's something wrong with me, or the other person's better.
Or other people would be complete about this, or other people don't have as, and it's just like, yeah, but other people aren't you, and they don't have your past or your experiences or your nervous system. Everyone's different.
Right. And I mean, I think that's where it can get a little tricky, especially in relationships, whether that's a partnership or a friendship, family dynamic, when it's something and, maybe one person is like, they feel complete on their side of it, but then the other person doesn't, right? And then it creates this whole other friction because it's like, oh my God, this person is just, they won't get over it, or they just won't, just let it go, whatever it is. And then the other person's like, what are you talking about, man? Like, this is all that happened. Like, that's a lot to process. That's a lot to move through, but it's because we all have our own experiences, our own, things of trauma, things of that has affected our nervous systems or our filters, and just different like identities, like all these guys. Like, there's so many factors at play, and so yeah, it just comes back again to that point where it's a very dynamic process when you have multiple people involved, and there's just these different aspects that are being worked through, and that's okay. And so I think it's just allowing the process. Like, it's not trying to make it some like hierarchy of thing of like complete or not complete about whatever it may be. Because I think this is, people get really hard on themselves around that. Like, I mean, I see a lot of clients like that where they're oh, I should be over this, or I should be, my partner's fine about it, I should just be fine about it. And I'm like, your partner did not have your experience in it, so I feel like you're totally chill, and so it's really just allowing, I think, yourself the grace in it. I feel like this whole topic is just, it gets people really down on themselves really quickly. And that's not going to make anything easier. But it just really, like, I see people just get so hung up about things, and maybe it's because I just tend to move through things a little bit slowly in general, like more naturally. So I'm like, yeah, that, man, you're doing great. Like, you should be moving slowly, actually. Like, people that go through quickly, I'm like, did you get it though? Did you? But it's just like, my understanding of my own self in that way just allows me to then be like, well, yeah, no, it can take some time, man. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, and I also think on the other side of that, if you are someone who processes more quickly, that you give people grace to go at the pace that they need to go at too.
Yeah. And the other thing too that like get brought up is I think this is also where it comes into play. I've seen this with people in their partnerships, where maybe they're struggling in moving through something to feel complete, and the other person is like, what, chilling, all good. But it's also like their level of emotional depth and understanding is not as deep as the person who is struggling, and so it's like they have just different, like, the person felt it a lot more deeply because they have that deeper understanding, deeper, emotional connection. and the other person, like, you know, it's like if you think about where it's like, maybe like a parent or something of that nature, and they just don't, you know, they're not into all the growth world and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, no, I'm complete. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, yeah, I guess. It just like when it's that, I guess their baseline level is just different in that way, right?
Yeah.
And so that can be even more frustrating in that sense too, because that's often why people will be getting told, you know, stop, like, to get over it or whatever, don't be sensitive, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So just also taking that into consideration when you're working through something with a specific person, and like understanding where they're at with that kind of space, and just being like, okay, well, that's also at play.
Yeah. Well, and I think for the person who is quote unquote faster or has less emotional like depth or capacity, or, you know, whatever for whatever reason, they are now at the point where they feel complete and the other person doesn't feel complete. I think what comes up for that person may be guilt, like oh, there's this person is still feeling some way about what happened, and so I now feel guilty, or I now feel some sort of like painful emotion because they still feel that way, like, or and maybe that guilt is around like, oh, I like, since this is between the two of us and they're still feeling deeply upset about this, then therefore I did something wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, or they still think bad things about me, right? And so then that guilt comes up, or that pain comes up, and I think that that's when you get that defensive response of like, why aren't you over it? Or like, I'm over it, or like, why can't we just move on from this, or something like that.
I mean, it's uncomfortable.
Right, it's uncomfortable. And so for the person who is complete while the other person currently isn't complete, giving that grace to that person, and also not taking it personally, like giving the grace to yourself and being able to sit with them in those uncomfortable emotions without taking it personally or feeling guilty or making it mean anything about you. And just allowing yourself to be in that space with that person. Because I think one of the things that's coming up for me right now as we talk about this is like, there's the each individual being complete about something, but then there's the relationship being complete about something. And if one person is not complete, that means the relationship is not complete. And so if you are someone who individually feels complete, part of the work in having the relationship being complete is being there for that person while they are incomplete, while they're working towards being complete.
Yeah. No, I always see it as like in like video games, like old school, like Super Mario Brothers or something. But it's or you could do like Mortal Kombat either too. But anyway, all the old games. But you know, when it's like this, you know, there's like an event and the two characters are like near it, you know, and then it like blows up or something of that nature, and it's like, you know, the left side character, it took away like 2 of their power bars, right? And so it's like for them to get complete, they have to just restore those 2 power bars. And then the other side, the right side character, it's like it took away 4 of their power bars, right? And so it's like they have to get complete, they have to do 4, right? And so it's, you know, understanding that it's not affecting people in like the equal ways, right? For like all the reasons that we listed earlier of all the different filters and experiences, blah, 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 etc. And, you know, and so it is that thing, even, you know, I think it's, I mean, I know we talk about like fast and slow processing and stuff, but it's also like, if you started at floor 1 and the other person's starting at floor 15 and there are 20 floors in the building, it's like, who do you think's gonna get there faster? You know, like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of just the impact of things too. And, you know, just understanding that it's just like, yeah, you know, it's going to take some time in that way and stuff. And so, Yeah, just different positions in those experiences.
Well, it's like, you know, if you get into an argument with a partner and how that argument occurs to one person is just about the issue that you're arguing about. And so like once you're done discussing the issue and y'all have said your piece, then that is complete for you. But for the other person, if that argument triggered something within them from their childhood, for example, then yeah, that person is going to be at floor 5 and you're going to be at floor 15 on your way up to, you know, floor 20. Right. Yeah. And so it's not even, you know, sometimes it has literally nothing to do with the relationship itself or with you as their partner, but rather with their own past, you know, lived experience in what, you know, however that argument went or whatever the topic was or how things were said or the tone that got brought up or whatever, you know, whatever it was that triggered them back to that moment of being yelled at by their dad when they were 7 years old. Where for you, like you were able to stay in the present because you didn't get triggered in the same way because that wasn't your past experience.
No, for
right?
Sure.
So
like sometimes that happens.
And sometimes that happens, exactly. And I think for anybody who has been in a relationship for any significant amount of time, like 3 months plus, that you've experienced this, that you've experienced, whether you were able to name it or not, you've experienced conflict in relationship where one person, whether it was you or the other person or whoever was involved, you know, if there's more than one person involved, where everyone felt the impact of that conflict differently.
Yeah, right. No, and that's the importance too of, you know, being able to complete the past, especially in long-term relationships. Again, partnerships, family dynamics, friendships, all applies if it's a long-term relationship.
Right.
But, you know, the thing, because it does get messier in the sense of, yeah, like the longer you're in relationship to someone, the more experiences you're having. And that means, you know, you know, when you first start off and it's like, oh, it's so clean and clear that the thing that triggered you was the thing from your dad, whatever.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. At month 3 versus at year 3.
Yeah. Like it's like, then, you know, yeah, like even just like 6 months later from that point in time, there's been things in your relationship that has just happened solely in your that current relationship. But there's also those aspects that are still sprinkled in from past things that didn't happen necessarily in this relationship, but it's all starting to get interwoven and interconnected. And so it's not just like, oh yeah, it was just dad or whatever. It's like, no, it was this person. And then it also did relate to this other thing that was from your dad or your sister or whatever it is. And then it gets a lot messier because it's just like, oh man, now I have to complete that, and I gotta complete that, and then and then, you know, and as that just keeps building and building and building, like years down the road, It's like, you know, that just is going to be present in the space where you're gonna be like, well, yeah, but yeah, that thing happened, but it's also because of this thing that happened at year 1 of our relationship, and then year whatever of our relationship, and plus the thing with mommy, you know. It's like it's a lot more involved in that way, which is why, you know, it is like to be able to address it as you can, you know, as best you can with the space and capacity you have along the way, because then it just makes things less complicated for everyone involved. You know, so it's also, I think that's the thing that gets people, especially in like long-term relationships too, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's getting harder. Or like, you used to just be like, woo, move through it, done. And it's like, well, now you're not only just carrying the past this relationship into this relationship, it's like now you have this relationship's past in this relationship too. So it's just, there's just more things happening.
Yeah. And again, I just think that that's also why it's so important, like you said, to have things, to get things complete as they happen. Or to start doing this work. Like the best time to start doing this work is when it happened. The second best time to start doing this work is now. and looking at, what in my past is incomplete, that could be or is impacting my ability to be in relationships now, and start doing that work. Start talking about it. And if you've never done this work before, or you've never worked with a coach or you've never worked with a therapist, I highly recommend it, because doing work to be complete is looking at things that you are charged by. And since you are charged by those things, it's harder to see it clearly. And so working with a coach, working with a therapist is going to help give you that outside perspective so that you can look at things from different perspectives to help you be complete. Because part of getting complete is being able to look at it from different perspectives, to look at it in different lights. Because one of the reasons why it's not complete is because you're stuck on one point of view from it, right? And so being able to look at it from multiple points of view is going to, and that's not the only way to get complete about something, but but that is going to help you get complete about that thing, right? And there's lots of different like coaching and therapy modalities to help you get complete about things, and it is different in different circumstances depending on what the thing is, what happened, if it was traumatic, and like the severity of the trauma as well is going to make a difference in like getting complete about that. Not everything can be solved in a conversation. Some things need like more depth and emotional processing to really work through, right? So different things are going to require different methodology to help you move through whatever that was that happened that's still impacting you now. Yeah.
Not a one size fits all.
Not a one size fits all. Nope. Yeah. Me personally, like I've definitely been able to get complete about things with a conversation with people. There have been certain things in my life where it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to talk about that and then we're going to be complete about it. Great. Awesome. And then there's some things that like happened years ago that I'm still working on in therapy. Like, and everything in between. And I think it's one of those things to just continually be aware of, because I know that I'm thinking of myself, and I'm also thinking of you listening to this podcast. This conversation can be really overwhelming because like all of us have had like significant things happen in our past. And so you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, like, does this mean that I have to like dredge up all of these things and like talk about all this stuff? And does this mean I have to like go to every single issue that I've ever had in my life and like get it all complete so that I can be healthy in relationships right now? And
yes.
I mean, wouldn't that be ideal to just be able to like get 100% complete about everything that's happened in your past?
It's the only way to do it.
It's the
If you need help, ask ChatGPT.
Revisit our last episode to get that joke. All right.
It's like, oh my God, is that it? Thank God.
Actually, funny enough, I just, Therapy Jeff on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
He literally just put out a video about therapy and ChatGPT today. Or today or yesterday or whenever it was.
Yeah.
But basically he was like, it's not therapy.
Dude, people are wild out there using it as therapy or coaching or as a friend or as a partner.
Right. It's just
all
like,
kinds of things where I'm like, if you are going to a bot, I can't do it.
Yeah, but his main point was like, no, because, and which is your point, which is my point, which is you can't get human connection and intimacy and emotional understanding from a robot. You just can't do that. That's not real.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, like, anyways.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. And my point being with being complete is that, and of course, as I say that, it's like leaving my brain. I found it. Is that you don't have to be fully complete about everything in your life ever to like have healthy relationships and to operate as a healthy person and to do all. It's more just to be aware of and recognize when your past is impeding on your present, and being able to have the tools and resources to be able to work through that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also just the building of the understanding of what helps you to feel complete about things. Like, you can reflect on past situations that you're like, oh yeah, I feel complete about that. You know, like, I can use those as my examples. Or like, as you navigate these things of like, oh, what are those key things that really help you to feel complete about something? Because then you'll be able to go, okay, I can utilize that, you know, as I move forward. Because, you know, I remember one of my therapists telling me, like, you know, for some people with, you know, complex trauma and stuff, it's like you need to look into the past to like actually be able to feel complete, versus other people are just like complete opposite, where it's like, don't you dare go look at those things in more specifics, because that's actually you not doing that and doing other modalities is actually what's going to help you feel complete, right? You know, so there's just different things. And again, like, it depends on what situation you're talking about. Like, that was an example of like complex trauma, but you know, it's being able to go, okay, what helped me feel complete about that previous relationship? What helped me feel complete about that job experience? What helped me feel complete? You know, like, all the just different things that you can start to go, oh, you know, because that's what, like, I can look at that for different areas of my life and go like, yeah, for jobs, it worked like this. For friends, it worked like this. For partners, it worked like this. And so I'm like, oh yeah, even though me knowing this is what's going to help me feel complete about something, me knowing that still goes, and also in this specific situation, it's going to take time. You know, I know what to do, quote unquote, but also there's a lot to do with that, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, but at least it gives you a guide to work with a bit more of going, okay, so you're not just like flailing in the darkness going like, but how do I even do it? Or da 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 da. It's like building that understanding for yourself of, oh, yep, well, this usually helps me, so I'm gonna apply that here. And yeah, I got 50 pounds of things to apply that to. So that's going to take some time, right? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, just being able to work with that too.
Yeah. I think, and maybe this is the last thing that I have to say about this for today, but I also want to acknowledge that doing this work is really courageous. Like, doing this work and getting complete about things is a very brave thing to do. It's one of the reasons why people don't do it, is because it's scary. It's scary to look at your past. It's scary. Especially if you have never really delved into being complete about things before. Or you've just skimmed the surface of it. Again, going back to that, like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm complete about this thing, but you're not actually complete about it. Like, it's scary because it is work. Like, don't want to sugarcoat that at all. Like, it is work to be complete about something, and it's not just internal work, but especially in relationships, it's admitting things that maybe you aren't proud of, or talking about things that are painful. or having conversations where you don't know how it's going to go and you have a lot of fear around that. Like, doing the work to be complete about things can be really scary. And so doing this work requires a lot of courage. And I think one of the things that really helps me with that courage, is the faith that I have that it will be better on the other side. Because, and that's how I truly feel, and in doing this work myself, and in moving through different things that I have in my life and different things that I've done either internally or in relationships to be complete about past things, and moving through all of that scary stuff, is that I have a lot of faith in the process of getting complete. And so it's not even, I mean, I have a lot of faith in myself, but I also, in doing this work, I have a lot of faith in the process of getting complete, and that even if it's going to be hard or scary, or sometimes it gets worse before it gets better, but having faith in that process of being complete about things, that helps me keep going. I was like, I love that. I love your face. That is your interesting face.
There you go. What fuels your completion process? That's what I was just thinking when you were saying. I was like, oh, look at that. That's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what helps me.
There you go.
Yeah. I also have in doing this work and in seeing the contrast of people who do the work to be complete versus people who don't do the work to be complete, I also have that contrast of like seeing it evidenced in other people and other relationships, and how much more free and expressive and open and unburdened people are who do this work versus people who don't do this work as well. I'm like,
I was
Penny
over here listening.
Yeah, I was like, Penny, for your thoughts. I'm like,
oh no, I was just reflecting on like here. No, I mean, you just knowing you always take the not always. Don't speak in absolutes. No, you just tend to take the inspirational routes of things.
I do take the
like you very much are like the like courage, and like totally. It will be better. Like it's all the inspiration. And I'm like, it's so interesting how you just tend to apply that to so many things.
I do. That is true about
you.
Me.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I'm like, I don't think I've heard more about courage in my life except.
I think if we were all more courageous, that the world would be a better place. I do feel that way. I do. I 100% feel that way. That's true about me.
Literally, before you, all I thought about was Courage the Cowardly Dog, which was a great show. But yeah, so I was just thinking about like it is the thing. How you do one thing is how you do all things. And it's like, well, look at that. Like it fuels you in this process. I'm like, so
it does. It's
interesting.
True.
But yeah, I mean, I think that is. I mean, I think it's important to know what motivates you to do this work for sure. And that just happens to be that. So I was just observing. I was just like, so interesting how that is how humans do things.
Yeah. What motivates you to do this work?
Well, I feel like we should end off on your inspiration. Like, let's leave the people inspired.
All right. Well, if you feel less inspired, then feel seen, connected. What is it?
Seen, connected, what? Validated?
Validated. That's the word. Validated by Lee, then.
That's right.
You don't have to feel inspired to do this work.
It's true.
I still think it's courageous, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone, do it for whatever works for you. It's just so funny. We use such different words to describe these things.
It's true. Yeah. Which is why I'm curious what your words are, but I guess we won't get it this episode.
No. Let's leave them with the courageous inspiration.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
Get it out there, folks. Rah, rah, rah. You got it.
I don't know. I don't feel like that. I mean, it doesn't work for everyone, which is why I'm always curious about, how you feel about it. And that's why both of us are doing this podcast. We have different points of view, different things that work and don't work,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like mine's just, how would I even describe mine? Mine's very like, I don't know. I guess one way I see it is just like, oh, I just owe it to myself. Like, but it feels very like I know things are hard to do. Like, I know it's hard to do. I know it's a challenge, which is why a lot of people don't want to do it. And I'm just like, well, I feel like, that is owed. Or like it's, what's that quote? This is something that one of my therapists told me too, but it's just like the grief is owed its due kind of thing. And so I just see it as like just the honoring of a past situation, a past version of you, a past version of someone else. Like, I honestly sometimes will just feel like completing the past around like maybe a relationship, for instance, and I do it like, it's like, yeah, for sure I'm involved in that. But it's like, oh, just like being able to honor that like person that I loved, one last time kind of thing, like it's a very, like, that's why I'm like, yours is like, oh, it's so inspirational, energetic. And mine's like so very like, it's quiet in the shadows. Like, I don't want like, and I don't see it as courageous. Like, I see it as courageous for other people for sure, but like, that's not what's coming up for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, like that is what is owed.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, I think it's very much like you to have something that's like more quiet. And the word that comes up for me is like sacred.
Yeah.
Like sacred and like reverent.
Yeah. Like, I definitely feel it in that way. Like, it's just, it's for me, it's just part of like the ritual of an experience. And so it's like, I see it as like, yeah, you look up a mountain and you're like, that's going to be hard. But it's like the pilgrimages, that people do. It's just like, but like, that is what is being asked for,
There you go.
So it's just like, oh, I just owe it to myself.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
That's how I say it. That's why I'm always like, what? That's so different.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why everyone has their different experience. And I think it's even just if you look at like the differences between the two of us in that way, like, I mean, I think this connects back into like how you experience things where you like love celebrations and like acknowledgements and like all those things about being complete about something. And me, I'm like, absolutely not. Like, that is not part of the process. It's like you went on a pilgrimage and someone's throwing a freaking party with balloons and like yelling, and I'm like, whoa, we just did this. I want it quiet, nothing's here, love it. You slip out the back door, oh my gosh. Like, that's how I've always completed things for me with jobs and like situations where I'm like, it's my last day, maybe someone knows here, probably my boss knows, but maybe someone knows. So I'm like, oh, just like a whisper in the wind. That's what I want.
No, I want.
But I mean, but that's,
Yeah.
but it's just like how it reflects and how you see the endings of things versus
Right.
like how I see the endings of things where I'm like,
Right.
oh, I love, like, this is so nice,
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I want the party. I want the New Orleans Day parade.
Yeah,
I want the
that's all-
band.
you want all of that.
I want the speeches.
Yeah.
Like, I want the toasts.
Yep.
I want the dance.
She wants it all.
All of it. That's what I
That's all,
want.
like,
Yeah. There you go.
It's so funny. I'm
Yeah.
just like thinking about the different situations now.
Well, I think that that's a really, and I appreciate you sharing. Thank you. Because I also think that that's really beautiful. And I think that, and again, like that's why, that's why it's great that we do this podcast together, because there's multiple different perspectives and there's multiple different things that feel good for people in being complete. Like for you, it's like the ritual, the whisper on the wind, the sacredness, the reverence around something. And for me, it's like the celebration, the acknowledgement. And acknowledgement for me is not always happy, but it is like more of a declaration of something, right? Like that feels good for me in having things be complete, like having something be like seen and witnessed and acknowledged, and something more like tangible that I can like hold on to and be like, yes, this is us being complete, this is me being complete, this is this thing being complete, whatever it is. Like that feels really good, for me. And so also what I'm taking away from us sharing this too is, again, something that you brought up earlier, which is just you, dear listener, asking yourself, like, what does feel good for you? Like, what feels good for you in completing something? And that applies to the process, but that also applies to the ending of things as well. Like, what feels good for you to be complete about that? What do you need around that? And you can look in your past, and in looking in your past, you can see what has worked for you. But one of the things, like how I came to know that celebration and acknowledgement were a part of me being complete about things, was because I didn't have that, and that's what felt missing for me. Like I was just like, oh, like what's missing for me is the celebration of this. Like what's missing for me is the acknowledgement of this. What's missing for me is this like tangible declaration, that we're recognizing in this. And so for me, I learned that about myself because I didn't have that for things. And so that's also another way to like learn that about yourself. What could have happened in your past that would have made you feel good about things being complete, and what does that tell you about what you need now?
Slip out the back door.
Makes me think of the Paul Simon song, or Simon and Garfunkel song. It's the 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Adventure Time song.
Oh, nice. All right. Anything else?
No.
Do you feel complete?
I see. Do it and probably like, yeah, I'm like, wow, yeah, no, there's so many different things. I'm just like thinking about, I'm like, oh my God, love that for me.
All right, well, I love you.
Me too. Love you.
We love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Queer Love Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Drop us a line on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships, or email us at queerloverelationships@gmail.com. If you are interested in working with us, follow the Linktree link in the show notes. See if our offers resonate with you, and if they do, sign up with us or book a discovery session. We are so grateful that you're here, listening, learning, and growing with us. Until next time, keep loving.